Greetings and welcome to Hot Topics from the Soul. I'm your host, Dr. Valerie Parker Hagan, and I'm so excited about the show today. I have one of my dearest friends, Dr. Veronica M. Brooks.
Hey, Dr. Valerie. Always
How
good to
are
see you.
you? Dr. Veronica, I'm so excited about you. You have such a body of work, and right now you're running for seat 4, Justice of the Peace Judge. Wow. How did that happen?
Yes. You know what, Dr. Valerie, I don't even really know what happened. I just feel like God is just pushing me out there actually. I just heard the people's complaints of things just constantly happening when you walk into the actual courtroom of the justice of the peace. You know, people, when they go into that courtroom, they get so discombobulated, don't even know what to say, don't know what to do. And it's like overwhelming. So when I kept seeing people walk into the Justice of the Peace Court, already confused, already overwhelmed, and was just full of intimidation, because of the system, because, the system's jacked up as well. Unsure about if anyone was really going to even listen to them. You know, that is what really triggered me because I knew my friends that had problems where the judge would just go in there, do the paperwork, and just stamp the thing, wouldn't really even give them much opportunity to have a voice to speak up. And that's what really caught my attention because I really did not want to just keep, criticizing and critiquing the system without doing something about it. Sometimes you have to step out and actually do something about it. And that's what I wanted to do. I stepped out and did something about it because nobody should go into a courtroom and they should not feel like they're in a trap door. They should be able to feel they're going to get fairness. Things are going to be clear. Things are just humane. They're going to be treated like a human being. And, after decades of public service and I having the experience, I knew I had the experience and the temperament to bring order and respect and accountability to the courtroom. You know,
Well, I definitely believe that you have the capacity and the tenacity to be able to fill this seat that you're acquiring for because I've known you over 15 years and you've always walked in integrity and honor and you had a heart for the people and you continually serve. You and your husband, your entire family, you're givers. You serve the community, and if there's a need, you step up to the plate. You are bringing
yes,
the change you want to see, and I applaud you for that. Now,
thank
you
you.
say that when individuals have cases that the justice of the peace judge is the first line of defense. How is that different from having an attorney?
Well, when some people, they can bring an attorney, but the justice of the peace is actually the people's court. And
Okay.
many people don't even actually know that it is the people's court. When they come in there, that judge should be able to hear them. Now, the attorney, usually doesn't let them say too much. They usually speak for them. They usually uh, present their case for them. But when they come in there, I'm going to hear them. I want to hear their voice. And that's the way it should be. It shouldn't be just the attorney speaking for them. And yes, sometimes people do need an attorney because some people cannot talk, because they're just a little bit too nervous. But I want them to feel that comfort inside the JP court, and not just knowing that, not just coming in there saying that, oh, just they're going to sign off on the paperwork or just rubber stamp and make a decision. That's one of the things that is that gives a person the opportunity, is to hear them and know that their judge is going to be fair. And that is the thing: be fair and be respectful across the whole entire spectrum of that session in that court opportunity that they have when they come.
Well, like I said, in all my years of knowing you, I know you've been, sensitive to the needs of others and, the integrity and honor that you walk in. What do you think you will bring to the table for those individuals that feel that they don't have the capacity to communicate, or their voices that aren't going to be heard, the intimidation of courtroom and judge is frightening all by itself. So, what do you think that will be the added value that you will bring to that seat?
Okay, so just like I mentioned before, many people think that the justice of the peace just signs paperwork and are either just rubber stamps decisions, but that's wrong. The role has real judicial authority and real consequences for families, tenants, workers, and small businesses. I would bring structure, consistency, and transparency to the courtroom. Having the clear expectations, efficiency in case flow, decisions rooted strictly in Texas law with no guesswork or no chaos. Because when people come in, I hear what they're saying about, oh, it doesn't even matter. They're going to do what they want to do anyway.
Hmm.
I don't want to be that. See, I want to actually bring the trust back into the courtroom. And I know I can bring it if I have that consistency and the transparency, for one thing. That is a
Right.
big thing, to be transparent
Yeah.
inside that courtroom. Because if we come in, say for example, because I have to deal with evictions, I have to deal with small claims, I have to deal with truancy and things like that. Well, say, they don't, the landlord just going to kick them out, they haven't paid, or whatever the case may be. Well, see, I'm going to listen to that type of situation, and I'm not going to want to just throw that person out on the street. So this is why I'm going to have those resources, so if they have to get out of that apartment complex or the home or whatever the case may be, I'll have a place that I can let them go to, that they'll have to lay their head, have clothes on their backs, and food for them to eat. I'm going to be more compassionate about it. I'm not going to just throw them out on the street and say, you just figure it out.
Right. So you'll be interacting with them as a bridge of humanity, which has been taken out of the judicial system,
Yeah.
especially over the last few years. It's like it doesn't have a heartbeat at all in the
Oh
court
my
system.
God.
It's been snatched out. It's like people are being suffocated. And I'm so glad that, you have the courage to say, I want to do something about it. I want to bring about change. And then you not
Yes.
only want to fill that seat, but what you want to do is work as an advocate to help build up, not destroy, which is fitting because that's
Yes.
who you are. You're a motivational speaker, you're a financial coach. So you've done it all to the empowerment and the betterment of the human spirit.
Yes, and Dr. Valerie, I know what it's like. My husband is retired from the military, over two decades. Actually, he's been was in the military for 24 years before he retired. And I know, being a wife and a mother, I know what it's like when you go through situations when they're not here. Like, for example, he was gone like almost a year. I had to deal with the children almost like a single parent, figuring out when things go wrong, if they're having trouble here in school or whatever situations that they're going through. I understand that as a parent. So I understand what people go through in life, just being as a single parent, because you feel like a single parent when they're not here, and you have to make all the decisions, make sure you're making the right decisions, making sure you're getting the things done, as well as just trying to work as
Right.
well. So I know what it's like, and so I'm going to have more compassion than anything and see what I can do to help and better the situation. Because I also believe that behind that seat, being a judge, I believe I can actually build up encourage even for the better too. Because like you said, I have done it for many years, and I have taken
Mhm.
many people, even single mothers that had 3 or 4 kids, we have took in and took care of them. And so I know I have
Well, you as a judge, you won't be taking in people,
I
but you
won't
will
take
have
them in, but
resources.
I have the resources.
You
I
will
know I
have
can do that.
resources and connection to,
Yes.
organizations out there that you can channel them to. Um,
Yeah.
so in this capacity that you will be functioning in, are you will you have the power to change some things in place, or basically walk out things where it was successful and got broken?
It was successful and got broken.
Yeah, where something, okay, that there were resources, because I deal with domestic violence in
Mhm.
children in single parent homes, and I have an influx of people that call me and they need help, and then I try to refer them to other systems that are in place to try to undergird them, but they're filled to capacity. So, are you looking to help build organizations and strengthen them so that they will have a door that individuals can walk through?
Oh, most definitely. Dr. Valerie, we just had a business conference. And what I did, I actually went, there were so many vendors there. I went to look for resources. And the reason why I look for resources, because I know that majority of the time that they have particular resources that they already send people to. But when they're filled, like you just said, over capacity, there's there's other resources out there that are not full, that people don't hardly ever use. And I went through and picked up some of those resources that I know that can help, because I was thinking about when I get into that seat, I'm going to say, when I get into that seat, I need to make sure that I have plenty of resources to get the help that people need. Because sometimes people go through mental health issues, they
Yes,
go through
yes.
a lot of things. But sometimes, if you just take one moment just to see where they're at and know that you have another outlet for them to get some help, maybe that will help them to come together, to be successful and get on their feet and do even better. And you never know, they may pay it forward to even help somebody else after they have been helped. So we just recently here in Texas, we just had a shooting, and the deputy of precinct 4, where I'm going to be at, got shot, but he just happened to have on his vest.
Thank God.
Yes. And that's really, yeah, that's what saved him. But I was thinking, I said, how could, that could have been prevented? Well, when I looked and I read the article, this gentleman, it looked like he needed help with mental issues because it was an eviction that happened. And I'm thinking, what could we have done just to prevent that? So when I'm in the court, I'm not so much as just trying to make a quick judgment. For me, I have to study the people as I'm even talking to them. I'm not trying to break them down and hurt them. I'm trying to see the best way that I can help them. And when I looked at that, I said, what could we have done better? Because I don't know what happened on the inside of the court. I just know what the news was saying. I knew
Right.
what they were talking about, but maybe there could have been something that we could have helped and just put him in a stable place where, he would have felt better. But you cannot mess with people's livelihood. That's one thing you should never really do. But
Yeah, but unfortunately,
you have to,
Dr. Veronica, we're in a situation now where millions of people have lost their jobs
yes,
and millions of people are losing their homes, their cars, not knowing how to feed their family. And we've
exactly.
been talking about mental illness for years, but it's come to a different light of manifestation because of the
Yes,
mental break and stress of individuals who are trying to get to the next level and
yes,
have felt like the life has been sucked out. Now, your position, seat four, justice of the peace,
uh-huh,
it's like I said, it's just so fitting for you, justice of the peace. We want to bring peace, we want to bring order,
yes,
but there will be situations
yes,
where they won't be able to bring a common ground because of the fact of the influx, as I alluded to earlier, that happens with a lot of organizations. But because this is a huge problem, it's just
yes,
not centralized, it's not localized to a certain area. This is a huge global problem in the US.
yes.
That's happening right now. Um, so, where do you see yourself fitting into that mold? Because we don't want people to think that you're going to wave your wand and everything's going to be fixed because everything is
Oh, no, right.
political, everything is politics, and there's going to be forces that work against your hand. But
Oh, yeah. I know there will
there are
be
going to be
forces.
forces that work against your hand, but this
Yeah.
is I thought it'd be important for people to know your heart, to know your vision of what it is that you're trying to do and what it is you're trying to accomplish, because somebody has to get started.
Right. Yes, right. Valerie, I know those things come in politics. That comes, but I'm gonna let you know I'm not afraid of nobody, because I know God is with. I'm just really not afraid of
Yes.
nobody, and nobody can pay me off. You better know that
Yes.
for sure.
You're
Um,
right.
the thing is because I'm really about the people, because fairness starts with respect. We
Yes.
have to respect the people, and people deserve to understand what's happening to them and why it's happening to them when it comes to standing in that courtroom. So it means explaining, just the process, to be clear, and listening before a ruling. See, this is where I have to make sure that I'm listening and hearing them, and that's where I'm giving them that opportunity, and applying the law, of course, evenly across the board. But I know there's going to be some uh that are intense, but I don't have to bow down to anything that I do not concur with, or things like that. So I'm very strict in some aspects, but I have a lot of compassion in other aspects.
Yes.
But when we
Yeah.
find out what the actual problem is, I guarantee you I'm going to be fair and try to find the best solution for that individual because I care about the people. And when you listen to the people, you learn a lot when you listen to
Right.
uh, the people, regardless of who they are, where they're from. You find out about them, and you can be firm and still be fair in any situation. You can be, because I've already been through a lot of things in my own life,
Right.
and I know what it's like to go through hell. I understand those things. But the thing is, when I'm looking out for the people, like I said, it's the people court, it's the people's court. And, I can enforce the law without stripping people of their dignity. That
Which is
brings
so
balance.
important. Which is so
Yes,
important because so many people feel that they're not being heard and that they are invisible. Rather they wind up in your court or not, there are billions of people walking around invisible.
yes,
Nobody's looking at them, nobody cares. And this is where a lot of the breakdown comes and where people will wind up in your court because of the fact that they feel invisible.
yes, they do. They feel like they have no voice. And this is why this is like a desperate thing for me, is for them to have their voice. I have had so many friends, and I have known their kids for so many years, decades, and they have told me how they have been mistreated just in the courtroom, and
Yes.
later on find out that either the judge was biased or racist and things like that. So my thing is, I'm a person that can be fair across the board. It's about time we get the right people in the right position that can actually make the court system a great one, another one that we can actually trust, because we know the system is jacked up. We already know that. But why not put people in there that could be authentic across the board and be consistent across the board, making decisions grounded in facts, you know, finding the right choices in life that maybe somebody may need. I have so much experience. There's a lot of things that I could relate to with a lot of people. But I know it's not perfect across the board. I know that decisions like have to be grounded in the facts and not emotion and assumptions. you know this is why this is how we can actually bring back trust in the court. And
I
that
know
is
that
what.
you will bring balance for sure. As I said,
Yes,
of all the years I've known you, you've been consistent and consistent for the people. Motivating is empowering individuals to embrace a larger vision of themselves. You've been doing that for what
yeah,
long before I met you.
yeah,
So to continue to empower individuals to strengthen them inwardly so that they can function properly outwardly is who you are. It's what you do.
yes,
And at this stage of the game, you're not changing. You're going to get stronger and better and more intense and purposeful. And that's why you're running for judge.
yes, yes, yes. See, Dr. Valerie, you know me.
Yes. I
Yes,
mean, when you said you were running for, I said, Judge, really? And then I started applauding you. I said, because of the fact that you have the courage to do it.
yes,
There's a lot of people that have your body bit of work that, they're like, well, let it just be whatever it is. But you want to participate still in
yeah,
helping communities thrive. And that's what this seat will allow you to be for the people.
yes, for the people. And you hit it right on the head, because it is about the community. And that's why I have served the community for so many years. And that's why I had
Yes.
said earlier about knowing about even family and structure and relationship, because I've been married for 42 years. I understand, the ups and downs. I could tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly. I could tell you the struggles. I understand
And you
people.
survived it.
Exactly. Exactly. That's
And
the
you
thing.
survived it. Let's not leave that out. It wasn't always easy, and you
Exactly.
survived it. And you running for judge.
I know, Dr. Ballard. Can you imagine that? Yes, I am. And I'm so excited about it. It's almost like I'm walking on air. I can't even explain it. I was like, wow. It's like let me tell you this, when I was going back and forth to hospice because my brother, I had to fly back and forth to Albuquerque. And there was people that said, Veronica, you should run for office or something, or senator. You should run for judge. And I was telling my brother, I said, man, I said, Robin, they're wanting me to run for judge. He said, oh yeah, I think you should do that. That would be nice. Go ahead on and do that. And then my niece, when she came in there, she said, Auntie, that would be a great opportunity. And then I thought about it, and I know I only had such a short period of time to actually submit my paperwork and get all my signatures. You have to get all these signatures to even get on the ballot. And I said, wow, I just actually, it was like I was just flowing. And the thing is, I said, wow, is this really how this is going to work? People were recommending me to talk to this person and that person, but yet I had to go to an event, different events, and I'm talking to the person, not knowing that I was talking to the person that they were recommending. And then I call the number, and that's the other person that they're recommending. It
That's
was
what purpose
crazy.
does. What a testament.
It was crazy. And it kept happening. And then one of the pastors, um, we were at another event, a campaign event for somebody else, another judge, and they were in there talking, they were laughing and everything, and then he told me, my wife is running for the Justice of Peace, Precinct 4, and he said, wait a minute, what's your name? He said, I talked to you earlier on the phone. Because they never had met.
Right.
It keeps happening. It just constantly happening. It's
Well,
like,
that's what
wow.
purpose does. And that's even a further testament to who you are, because the atmosphere around you is right. And when you align with the assignment that God has for your life, you don't have to do much. The world will beg for what you have and who you are. So, even in this capacity, you'll be serving people. And even though this seat is centralized in your area, this message of strength and tenacity will go out globally so that people can know that it is possible to live your dreams out loud, and not only your dream, but the dream that God has for you, which is destiny.
Amen. Yes. Oh my God. Dr. Brown, that you're always so good. And I can't give you enough thanks, because all the struggles, what I've been through, what I came out of, and you just always been there. And it's like, I told Les you created a monster, right? Because I'm just walking, out there with, it's no fear. I have no more intimidation. And that's
Mm,
why I can relate to people with that has, low self-esteem, and then, coming inside a courtroom with just being intimidated and being confused. I can relate to all those
mhm.
things.
Yes, you can. Yes, you definitely can. If they only knew your story, then they would. Well,
Yes,
how can people connect with you? Your website? What is your website so people can follow you? Because even though, like I said, you're running for judge, you are a best-selling author. You are a
yes.
financial coach, motivational speaker, so you can speak nationally. You're not centralized to just Texas alone. So how can people connect with you?
Well, on my campaign side, you can go to www.veronicabrooksforjustice.com.
I love it.
Yes, Veronica.
VeronicaBrooksForJustice.com. Is
Yes.
that the number four or
No,
FO?
it's spelled out for FOR.
Okay.
Yeah. Veronica Brooks for FOR justice.com.
Now, see, if you would have consulted with me, I
Me?
would have said, Veronica, do Veronica Brooks the number four because you're running for seat four.
Oh, see? Wait, see, I should have called you. See, I should have
I
called
would
you.
have done it like that because
That
this
would have been
we
good.
naming it, we claiming it, and we believe it, and we were going to receive it. Seat four,
Yes.
Justice of the Peace for
For peace
Veronica
for
M. Brooks.
yes, yes. And
And how
on
can they find you in your business?
my business website, you could go to veronicabrooks.com. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice and
And,
simple.
and
It's always a pleasure talking to my girl, and I'm so,
I
so,
know more.
so proud of you. I
Yes. So,
mean,
oh
I
my
am
God.
so, so proud of you. And I know that
Thank you.
there's still more to come because lives are going to be transformed
I,
just
yes.
because you're walking in your assignment. And audience, please
Yeah, hot topics from the soul,
forget
reaching all minds, turning
Veronica
knowledge into
M.
gold.
Brooks.
Yeah,
See this
hot
young
topics
lady
from the
here?
soul.
That's who you
Yeah,
need
hot
to
topics
vote
from the
for if
soul.
you're in the
Yeah,
Texas
hot
area.
topics
She's
from
in
the
San
soul,
Antonio.
reaching all
And
minds, turning
also, you
knowledge into
can follow
gold.
her on all her
Yeah,
social media
hot topics from the
platforms. And
soul.
until next
Hot
time,
topics from the
make
soul.
sure you subscribe to Hot
Yeah,
Topics from the
yeah,
Soul.
hot
Peace
topics
and
from the soul,
blessings. Until
reaching
next
all
time.
minds, turning knowledge into gold. Yeah, hot topics from the soul. Yeah, hot topics from the soul. Yeah, hot topics from the soul.